song, the planes, the geometry and all that?
I think it's at Central St Martin's. It's such a competitive hothouse there that every single designer is made to aim for perfection in terms of quality. And I think this year actually there's been quite a unified look has come out, and lots of the designers are thinking about geometry and flat planes and suede surfaces, pleating, structure.
It was actually started off looking at Linda Carter in Wonder Woman, strangely enough, and because I had a real late 70s vibe when I started the collection, but it all started from a feeling of what I wanted to achieve, and I wanted quite a structured look, but trying to do it in a softer way.
It was all very, very modern and contemporary. As soon as it came out, I thought, oh my God, there's the winner. It was an extraordinary kind of exercise in pleating. Really, really beautiful. Mainly in white, but just rows and rows and rows of extraordinary fine pleats. It was like a sort of futuristic Grecian goddess.
So by using these bangles, corrugated bangles, to catch the tension of this power mesh, it creates these boxy shapes on the sleeves and across the leg and things. And I also looked at Norm Gabbo's string sculptures from the Bauhaus era, and again lots of late 70s references, which kind of denoted the silhouettes, like the high waist, the small torso, and the long leg and the padded hip. So that's where that kind of came from. I've done pretty much all of it myself as well. So I was quite early on. I kind of dared myself to see if I could do it without much help. So it was a laborious process and a lot of trial and error and working out how it needed to work, and it was a long process, but it was worthwhile in the end. I hope to, I'd love to have my own label, but I'm a realist and it's a lot of money, and so unless I got a lot of funding, I think I'd prefer to work in the industry, and I want to hopefully end up in Paris, work for someone like Balenciaga or Givenchy. That's my drive, and I eventually want to become a creative director, and that's the place I'm aiming for now. I want to learn from the best, and they're the best in my view, so that's what I'm aiming for next.
So you did the very... you've got pictures, haven't you?
I've got pictures.
Quite handy too.
Well, it's just all kind of based on just sculptures, so classical sculptures versus kind of modern sculptures. So it's looking at more classical Greek sculptures, and that kind of translates to something a bit more couture kind of way of draping, and looking at more modern sculptures like Anish Kapoor, and then doing that in a more modern kind of way, mixing the two things together through the usage of foam and jersey, because that's the perfect medium that almost looks like it is sculpture. Well, the silhouette was actually just based on the abstracted silhouette of a T-shirt, really, like tailoring a T-shirt, to put it that way. So it's the shape of a T-shirt now has a structure, and then from that on, you pull it out the shape and stretch it out of shape until it becomes something a bit more couture-like. It was worked directly on the mannequin as well, as opposed to just drawing and research, which is the usual way of doing it, I suppose.
The John Rocha show was yesterday, and then he came and just watched the show tonight. What I have is in me, you know what I mean? But it doesn't change me as a student or me as a designer, and it's been great knowing where I come from, but it's really been fantastic finding out what my identity is. This is my very first collection. I was looking a lot into Ireland, and since I moved, I kind of started thinking about the homeland. And I was looking into travellers and mourning and funerals, and it's about the Irish Aran Islanders and how they used to mourn and how they used to dress. Also started looking at a lot of travellers and the way they wear quite masculine clothes like pea coats and crombie coats, and tracksuits, but I wanted to really pare it back and kind of romanticize it. So that's why I did lots of different fabrications with tulle and mohairs. It was really about taking something masculine and paring it back and romanticizing it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do my own collection under my own name, is what I'd love to do the most. I'm going to see how the show is received and play it by ear.
There was another prize went to Rock Huang, and his mainly was a sort of exercise in star prints. Different sort of shaped stars printed on very, very long dresses in black and tan, with sort of big stars kind of around the body.
I wanted to keep it like all the fashion factors out and then bring the like some kind of freshness. So it was all about taking the different aspect, like taking one idea into different like multi-dimensional way. So it will be more like odd and funny, but still have the femininity and kind of elegance to it.
Well, I loved Rock Han, I think his name is, the Korean guy at the end. I actually really want one of those dresses, yeah.
It's been like a whole year almost, so there has been lots of work in it, yeah. Having a show, a bit crazy, but it was fun, enjoyable.
And then there was LILLY HEINE, who did this extraordinary sort of layered effect. And hers was sort of in cream and beige, but it really looked like pieces of fabric sitting on a cutting room table, stacked up. It was a strange effect.
I always look at art, and this time I looked at Picasso sculptures, and I also looked at jewellery. So I looked at the 3D aspect of diamonds and how they're cut. So I started layering fabric to build them up into 3D shapes. So then the garments became like sort of soft moving sculptures. It's quite serious at the beginning, and then I just wanted to add a bit of sort of like an optimistic aspect to it.
I mean, they're very grown up. These are not rebellious kids anymore. They're very serious designers by the time they leave St. Martin's. They've probably been studying, 7 years at university.
What I was, I think, perhaps surprised by was the concentration on very clean, sculptural minimalism. There was none of the sort of fantastical wild flights of fancy that we might have seen a few seasons back.